Okay.
Okay, magandang gabi po sa
Okay.
inyo lahat, mga kaibigang nanonood, nakikinig dito sa Talak-Bayan sa Tinig Pinoy Radio. Kasama po natin ngayong umaga dito sa ating palatuntunan, siyempre ang aking constant partner, William Obidensya of Japan.
Ay,
Hello, William.
magandang gabi sa inyo dyan sa Pilipinas. Magandang gabi sa lahat.
Isang pinagpipitagan ng journalist po ng ating bansa ang kasama ulit natin dito sa Talak-Bayan. Wala pong iba kundi si Mr. Ermin Garcia Jr. of Sunday Punch.
Good evening. Good
Leo.
evening. Good evening, Dan. Yes.
Yan. So today, kumusta po kayo? How are you, gentlemen?
Well,
We're fine.
ako, I just drove up from Dagupan to here. That's about 4 hours drive to Makati.
Wow.
Wow.
Naiingit ako
Mabilis
dito
na ba
kay
yan?
William, naiingit ako dito kay Ermin eh. He does that a lot. You know, it seems to me that kasi the other Saturday that we had him as guest, he just also arrived from Dagupan.
Yeah.
Si Ermin Garcia po ay nasa Metro Manila, and I think he commutes between Dagupan and Manila. Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's
Wow.
right. I do my newspaper
Every
kasi
week.
it's a weekly newspaper yun eh.
Yeah.
So I do my
Oh.
newspaper there every Friday. So I come
Ayan.
back here Saturday. Ganun.
Yeah.
1 year ako sa ano. 1 year ako sa Dagupan, La Union.
Oh.
Talaga? Oh, that's good. Oh, marami ng improvements.
I'm
Marami
sure.
na.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Marami na.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
ngayong umaga is no better or no worse than other Saturday evenings. When I said umaga, kasi po umaga dito sa amin, sa North
Gabi namin.
America. Yeah, sa Pilipinas ngayon is 8 o'clock in the evening. Dito po sa akin ngayon, 7 o'clock in the morning pa lang. Kaya,
Teka muna, Dan. Matanong nga kita.
Okay.
At least before we start.
Sure.
Kayo, ang Filipino community ba dyan sa Ottawa, Kwan? Are you watching the US elections? Kanino kayo?
Yes. Well, divided as usual ang community.
Okay, all right.
But personally, although of course I have my own opinion, I feel that Trump would have been a better fit for the
president.
Philippines and for Canada. You know, a lot of
Okay.
politicians here believe that Trump is also an ace as far as the trade relations is concerned.
Okay.
That's why the sitting liberal, yung government in power ngayon, does not really like Trump, and they prefer, of course, Biden. But that's another story. So we'll tackle
Okay.
more
Sige.
of our domestic issue in the Philippines. Umani kamakailan ng batikos ang Armed Forces of the Philippines dahil naglabas sila ng isang listahan ng mga umano'y paaralan na kung saan ay active ang recruitment process ng komunista ng Pilipinas, samahang komunista ng Pilipinas. Lalong naging mainit dahil si General Parlade ay nag-comment kay Liza Soberano, isang actress, popular na actress sa Pilipinas, at in-advise niya and solicited advice, unfortunately, na dapat malaman niya kung anong klase ng grupo ang kanyang ini-endorso, because Liza spoke about Gabriela inviting youth to support and join the movement. Of course, nagkaroon na ng matinding balitaktakan dyan. Angel Locsin came up front saying that this is nothing more than witch hunt. Ano sa palagay ninyo? Is this red tagging an issue that the Filipino people should really get involved and know what is happening? The first question goes to my friend Ermin Garcia.
Yung sinasabi ng red tagging, actually, it's something that we have taken for granted for a long time. We know they are there. We know what they're doing. Pero it was never really an issue until now. Okay, and in fact, this is the first time really that we have seen the military talking openly and confronting the issue directly. Noon kasi, they just report an ambush, they just report maganon. But now they're coming up with their own insights from intelligence and everything openly.
Yes.
Okay. Then of course this is nagkaroon talaga ng issue yan because of the anti-terrorism law.
Right.
Okay, so nag-spike ngayon yung discussion on the red tagging, although if you look at the red tagging itself as we knew it, it's really harmless. It's nothing. It's like calling the LPC yellow,
Yellow, so.
the Duterte one as DDS,
Right.
and then you call the LGBTQ as rainbow.
Right.
So nothing to it really. It's just that ang naging kwan dito, medyo naging alarmed na rin yung makabayan.
Mhm.
Precisely because of the anti-terrorism law.
Alamin natin kung ano talaga ba ang kahulugan ng red tagging as generally known. Sabi nila, according to Oxford Dictionary, ang red tagging daw ay panliligalig o kaya pag-uusig sa isang tao dahil ito ay kilala o kaya ay pinaghihinalaang sympathizer ng komunismo. Okay. So sa makatwid, lumalabas na ang red tagging is not good for those people who are espousing the idea of communism. Na kung ikaw, ito yung isang bagay na pinagtatalunan ng marami dito. Of course, maaaring dahil ginagatungan ito nung partidong naapektuhan, sinasabi nila, pag ikaw daw ay limbawa sumama sa rally, ikaw automatic komunista ka na, and therefore you are red tagged and you are now a member of the Communist Party of the Philippines, which personally I don't think is correct. What do you think?
Mukhang iba yung sinasabi ni Parlade is saying that card bearing.
Yes.
Is a card bearing member of the CCP. Yun ang red tag nila. I do not know kung sino merong card, but I do not think na yung mga karamihan ng members na merong card. Kung sumali ka sa rally, they don't even know bakit sila nandun eh.
Well, if you are a member of the CPP-NPA-NDF, then obviously you have a card, right? Because you're a member. And unfortunately for the CPP-NPA-NDF, they have been declared by the USA as early as 2002 as a terrorist group, an international terrorist group. And President Duterte also declared them to be a terrorist group. We don't know why these people are saying that the CPP-NPA is not necessarily a terrorist group. Your take on this, Ermin?
Well, actually, it has never been an issue until now. But sila lang talagang gumagawa ng issue about this. Because even this thing about pag ikaw ay umattend ng rally, they tag you as red. No, that's not true. That is what they're making it appear.
That is
In
right.
fact, that is partly simply the argument they presented sa Supreme Court.
Yes.
That everybody's being tagged as communists, and you're risking their lives, you're endangering their lives. That is their argument, no? To have an anti-terrorism law declared as unconstitutional.
Right, yes.
Yun lang ang ginagawa nila, but it's not happening.
No,
Even in the case of Liza Soberano and Angel Locsin, ang sinikwento lang ni Juan is, baka hindi alam ni Liza kung ano nangyayari sa Gabriela. Because the truth is, Gabriela has actually been recruiting also. And for some, to a certain extent, no, maraming identified na ni-recruit nila na sumali sa NPA.
And died in the process.
And
right?
died in the process.
Yeah. So
yung kay Angel Locsin naman, the issue is not about her, but really about her sister.
Her sister, yeah. Si Ella.
So they're modeling the issue, to make it appear as if the military has been very ang tawag nito, unreasonable and fascistic in approach.
You use the word fascistic, and fascistic is being hurled on on the people who govern. Kapareho dito, sabi nila si Digong daw fascist. That is an example of tagging. So I mean, saying that
yung sinasabi ko they call everybody corrupt, they call everybody okay? Pero pag sinabi mo sa kanila what they really are, red is their color. So what else can be wrong about it? So,
red yung color ng flag nila.
Right.
Red yung color ng sombrero nila. So, it's just like the yellow ribbon.
Right. Diba? So would you agree, gentlemen, that at this point, what's happening is expected? Kasi we are now, it may sound cliche, we are now fighting, I'm losing it. Hindi ko maalala yung phrase na yon. You're trying to win the hearts and mind of
Propaganda.
the population, and therefore propaganda yan. So for the first time, the armed forces of the Philippines is standing up and doing what the Communist Party of the Philippines, through their legal fronts, supposed to be legal fronts, have been doing, trying to win the hearts and the minds, particularly of the poor sector and of the youth. Tama ba yun?
Exactly. Yung tingin ko dyan, yung red tagging is a strategy para ma-isolate mo yung red. Kasi it's impossible for the NPAs to survive without supplies coming in from the towns or kamag-anak from somewhere. Now, if you're red tag, pati yung mga tumutulong sa'yo, matatakot na sumuporta sa'yo dahil pati sila matadamay. So, mawawala makakatop yung supply nila.
And I think, Will, yan ang reason kung bakit they are now really fighting tooth and nail, dahil suddenly mapuputol yung potential na supply nila, yung suporta ng mamamayan. Dahil now, makikita ng mga dating sumusuporta sa kanila, may ngipin ng bansa, lumalaban na, hindi katulad ng dati na pagka nagkaroon ng ambush, tsaka lang pupunta yung military at hahanapin yung mga naggumawa ng ambush, hindi ngayon. And there are places like Baguio, for example, declaring the CPP-NPA-NDF as persona non grata.
So, doon, isolated na sila ron. Hindi na sila pwede pumunta sa town para bumili.
Yeah,
pero
welcome naman daw sila. Ermin.
Yung red tagging dito, actually, how it affects them, yung makabayan, is the recruitment. Okay? Ngayon, every time they move, medyo, lalo na yung mga estudyante, alarm na sila.
Right, yeah.
Kasi noon, they're very free to recruit.
Right.
Sasabihin, no, we can correct the system, we can be helping the poor, we can break yung mga ganon. Ngayon, hindi na.
Kasi there is a greater awareness now in the among the population, di ba?
Yes.
Although, tama ba sila? Tama ba itong mga supporters, yung mga human rights activists and all, na sa pagsasabing, when you have tagged, halimbawa, PUP, as the hotbed of the communist recruitment. Doesn't that really put in danger the lives and the reputation of the students and the faculties of that particular school?
Hindi naman, kasi matagal naman lang ginagawa yan sa PUP.
Mga
namamatay lang.
Huwag ka na lumayo. UP ka na. Huwag ka na lumayo sa UP.
Agreed ako dyan. Pero ang tanong, ang point dito is that noon hindi ginagawa ng military yung ganito, hindi nila ina-identify. Ngayon ginawa yan ng military, naglista sila nung mga pamantasan at paaralan kung saan masasabi nating hotbed of NPA recruitment. So tama ba yon, Ermin? Tatanong ko uli sa'yo.
It's I think it's useful in the sense that the people are now made aware that it's been happening for a long time. And it's time that the people have the right to know ano talaga nangyayari. So many parents so far have been very unaware na yung mga anak nila nawawala ng bigla, nagiging pasaway, mga ganun. Not knowing that yung school pala na pinagkuhakuan nila, na pinapupuntahan ng bata, nandun pala yung hotbed.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean...
Misled din kasi yung yung mga parents misled din ng mga organization kasi hindi naman siya sabing NPA o Gabriela. Meron sila ibang group. Meron ibang groups na nagre-recruit. Then later on, siguro na-brainwash na yung bata, pupunta na sa isang group again, then malilipat hanggang mapunta ng bundok.
Exactly.
Pero hindi naman lahat ng na-recruit na pupunta ng bundok.
Ganun. I don't think the military is really going to come into the school and start searching and start. No, I don't think it's going to happen that way.
Right.
Ito nga sinasabi, ito argument rin ito ng sa makabayan sa Supreme Court. These are exactly the arguments they're using.
Okay. Nabanggit mo yung makabayan bloc, Ermin. Doon sa Senado, nagkaroon ng hearing, in-invite nila yung military at saka yung nag-declare ang tawag doon, nag-whistle blow sa
whistleblower
nangyayari
nila,
sa
sa
CPP-NPA.
loob.
And I'm referring to Ka Eric, Ka Efren, and all the other what used to be cadres. Pero hindi dumating yung Makabayan Bloc. Bakit kaya?
Fight.
Self-incrimination. Actually, ang kanila, what they're standing by for is something, is they're invoking their parliamentary courtesy practice,
Right.
that they cannot stand in as a witness or resource person of their counterpart in investigation.
Right.
But it's really more of an avoiding self-incrimination. Because point blank, pag hinarap ka ni Eric, tuturo ka nila, wala silang magagawa. Ganun, tago lang ng tago.
Tago ng tago. Pero meron silang condition. Apparently, Sarate and his ilk said that, yeah, we're willing to show up during the Senate hearing. Pero wala dapat yung military. Wala dapat yung mga whistleblowers. So, ibig sabihin nun, they
just want their platform.
One-sided.
Yeah, they're saying na, hindi talaga issue yung interparliamentary courtesy. So, is that just a case of self-preservation and avoiding being pointed to? Yes.
Of course. Because the issue actually involves the military.
Right.
All right. So how can you not bring in the military in a committee hearing? Who can refute you? So because the legislators will normally have to ask each party every time there is a statement made. They need to validate. How can you validate something when the other side is? Ang nangyari nga lang dito the first time, they defaulted.
Okay.
It's not as if the military wanted or set a condition na kami lang. So they did not.
Yes. The invitation apparently was open, di ba?
So they defaulted in that sense.
I see. Pinag-uusapan natin itong Senate hearing. Isa sa mga tanong na naglalaro sa mind ko ito, Erwin, and I know you have your ears on the ground when it comes to the House of Congress, right? To the lower representative, to the lower house rather. Makabayan Bloc is part of Congress.
Right.
My question is the House of Representatives cuddling the CPP-NPA by means of not holding a hearing? Dati-rati, nauuna pa yung Kongreso na gumagawa ng congressional hearing tungkol sa mga isyung bumabalot sa bansa. Why has the Congress not taken up this particular issue?
It's a big question in my mind also.
Okay.
Especially now that since the 8DL came up, the anti-terrorism law,
yes,
they were supposed to have conducted a hearing on that.
Yes.
No, and they did, but of course, there was no action taken about it. Ang nabigla ako when Velasco himself came up, pick up the cudgels for them. Never did it happen in the past. That you have a speaker actually defending a sector, not necessarily the Makabayan, defending a sector in their house against criticism.
Okay.
Never yan.
So does that mean that the Congress will never do a congressional hearing regarding this issue?
I think there will be a clamor later among them. But it looks like Speaker Velasco will stand in the way.
Right. And because he's the speaker, medyo matindi yan, mahihirap.
Medyo matindi yan.
So, merong accusations ngayon, or at least mga parinig. Is Speaker Velasco a supporter of the CPP-NPA by way of, not holding a hearing on this because the Makabayan Bloc is pressuring him?
Indirectly, I would say yes. No, indirectly, I would say he is supporting them.
Yes.
Not necessarily as an ideology, okay, but he's trying to support them precisely because he thinks that his members need to be protected.
Okay.
Okay. But
is that a cop-out or is that an excuse?
It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. First of all, he should not have done that openly. and say that, you should not do this. These are honorable people, etc. and all that. Of course, ang kuwan ko naman sa kanya is, in fairness to him, hindi rin niya kasalanan na nandun sila because it was COMELEC that allowed them to run for party list.
Right, but
no, but ang kuwan ko lang dyan is, being in the local government, it's like Marinduque, where the MPAs operate.
Alam niya.
Okay, I am sure he was looking at a situation where he doesn't really get into confrontation with them. But mali ang ginawa niya because speaker na siya.
Right, yeah. So parang sa mind ko, nakikita ko to, parang si Speaker Velasco is doing a self-preservative action. Kasi,
yes, political.
Yeah, political ito. So there goes the dirty politics in the Philippines, right? Kasi merong horse trading dito eh. The MAKABAYAN bloc supported him when they took the move against Speaker Cayetano. So ngayon lumalabas, he's paying them back. So payback time.
Payback time
which is in bad taste as we see it. Should we condemn Speaker Velasco because of this action?
Of course. Of course. Because a speaker should actually lead the example and what to protect for the interest of the people. The story of the MAKABAYAN group is that first of all, even Joma already acknowledged their affiliation.
Right.
They are part of the above ground operations, the legal for communism.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. If the country already had this law before as anti-subversion law, precisely against them, how can he think now of protecting this MAKABAYAN bloc, knowing that traditionally, and we want to preserve our way of democracy.
Right. Yeah.
Now they want to actually ang tingin ko sa kanila is wishful thinking yung overthrow. I don't think they're going to. They just want to destabilize.
Yeah, well, we all know what the CPP-NPA, even from the very get-go, wanted to do. They wanted to impose their will on the democratic Philippines because they would like to rule. In fact, isa sa mga proposal nila, which is ridiculous, as I was reading, yung peace talks nila sa Netherlands noon, isa sa mga proposal nila, gusto nila magkaroon sila ng parang check and balance. Sila yung equal branch of government nung namumuno. And that I find ridiculous. How can people in this modern world now, I mean, maybe 50 years ago, 52 years ago, maybe that would have fly. But ngayon, oh my Lord. Sandali natin putulin tong kwento na to just to acknowledge a few people who have checked in and made their comments. Andiyan po si Maria Teresa Maganakan ng Davao. Magandang umaga daw po. And from Singapore, we have Unik Saino. Magandang umaga, tanghali at gabi daw sa atin. Doon po sa mga nakikinig at nanonood, wag po kayong mahiya na mag-comment. Para po lumabas ang inyong mga pangalan, see to it that you have approved SteamYard sa Facebook. Para na sa ganon, hindi lalabas na generic yung pangalan ninyo dito sa comment section. So keep those comments coming in. And in fact, we appreciate and encourage you to weigh in dito sa issue na to. Kasi po, kaming tatlo, we have our own personal belief, mga opinion po, and you might have yours, which might be contradictory to us, and we certainly welcome the opposition, whatever. Kung payag kayo o hindi, and what views you have in mind. You can either write them down or let me know, and I will put you on the screen to become part of our panel this morning. William, nasa Japan ka. You are a...
May lang ako doon sa
Sure, okay.
Sino nag-coin nung term na MAKABAYAN bloc?
Sa kanila yan.
Kanila
They
sila.
formed the group. They formed the group in 2002, I think.
Yeah, kasi they claim ownership of being the only people who are patriotic na sila ay makabayan.
Ilang party yan?
Well, nandiyan yung
hindi lang party list actually. There's a lot of organizations belonging to that. You have the LFS, you have the the College Editors Guild, yung mga ganun.
Yeah.
These are the same groups actually that were cited by Joma in his video.
Right.
Nasa Congress sila lahat.
No, no,
Nasa
no, no.
Congress.
Ang Congress, 4 na grupo lang yan.
Mhm.
Bayan Muna, Gabriela,
Gabriela.
ACT, at sa Kabataan.
Ayan.
They have six representatives.
That's
By
right.
the way, let me tell you Kwan, how paano tayong ginigisa sa ating sariling Kwan.
Please. Yeah.
Each one of them, okay, every month they are being paid about 600,000 pesos. Salary and staff nila, okay? Times 6 ilan yan?
Times 6. Wow. That's 3.6 million kagad yun. Monthly.
Okay.
Monthly. Which in a
Monthly.
year is about 400 million.
All right.
Wow. Napakasarap
Hindi pa
maging
alam ng
member.
bayan yan. Hindi nila
Hindi
nakala
alam.
nila, nagsisweldo lang sila, gano'n. No.
Mhm.
They are being paid for so much. Each congressman is being paid so much. Sa kanila, okay, Bayan Muna has 3 representatives.
Okay. Yeah.
Kabataan, Gabriela, and ACT, tig-isa sila.
Yes.
But we all know they all come from the same group. So
Right.
you put all their money in one pot.
Mhm.
Ganun ang binagawa sa mga taxes ng Pilipino at ginagamit for their own ends.
Wow.
So, bukod doon sa 600, I think meron pa sila tinatanggap na additional.
Additional, pag meron kang chairmanship or a special committee na hinahawakan.
That's right. Yeah.
But so far, since they are members of the minority, no, they're only some membership lang sila sa mga committees.
Mhm. Pero na lang kung i-appoint silang deputy speaker
Exactly.
ni Lord Alan.
Bilasa ko.
Sana naman hindi
nila.
gawin ni Alan yan. I mean, that would be the height of hypocrisy if he does. Nakatutuwa na binanggit mo yan. And I think it's about time that we call a spade a spade. The CPP-NPA-NDF is definitely tagged as a terrorist group. Now, this MAKABAYAN bloc are, even according to the chairman of CPP-NPA himself, Joma Sison, sabi niya, legal fronts ko yan. Legal fronts ng CPP-NPA yung mga grupo niyan, yung Gabriela, yung Anak Bayan, yung Kabataan, yan, mga legal fronts ko yan. Sa makatwid, inaamin mismo ng kanilang samahan na sila ay miyembro ng CPP-NPA. It's interesting. Hindi ba ibig sabihin niya na illegal din sila? Matuturing nating mga criminal sila because they are part of the Communist Party.
They are not under our law. Being a member is not punishable.
Okay.
All right. It's not a case for a criminal case.
Okay.
Being caught in the act of terrorism is what it's going to do. Kaya yung ginawa ngayon yung sa anti-terrorism law, it gave it more teeth because they cannot simply arrest them for being suspected members of CPP or NPA.
Yeah.
No, kahit yung mga NPA
Suspicion pa rin ba? Erwin, suspicion pa rin ba when the chairman himself confirmed that these parts are these organizations are legal fronts of CPP-NPA?
Alam mo, sa linggo nga namin sa journalism, kahit na yung pumatay ng tao, ang sinatawag natin dyan is suspected assailant, suspected killer, because in their day in court, they have the right to deny.
I see. So they have not been proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
But look at it, no, NPA. They look at an NPA, kunyari na nakita, nagbibigay ng kung ano-ano, supporting legal. He cannot be arrested simply because somebody called them NPA.
Okay. Yeah.
They can only be arrested if they have aggravating evidence.
Okay.
Like they have holding arms, may propaganda materials, yung mga ganun, or sumama sa barilan. But not because of communist sila. They cannot arrest them for that.
Talaga palang walang magagawa yung military, maski na gusto lang.
Wala talaga. They've been helpless before. And sadly, I also heard already in the past na simply because of this, na tagilid ang military sa labanan nito, a lot of the military, some of the military officials and soldiers themselves allowed themselves to be used by the other side for the money. Total, hindi naman nila magagawa eh. Di bayaran mo na kami.
In what way,
I will sell you my arms. I will sell you my...
There you go.
Remember yung AK-47 na yan.
Yeah, mga ganun. Or pag may dumating na arms, they just close their eyes. Huwag mo na lang kaming barilin. Mga ganung usapan na kasi wala kang magawa It's, that's why, kaya nga takot na takot ang Makabayan Bloc for CPP-NPA, no? Na meron yung anti-terrorism law. Because it has more teeth than ever, no, in going after them.
Yeah. So,
openly,
so sa makatwid, tama yung ginagawang activities ng Armed Forces of the Philippines by bringing this issue to fore and therefore making the population more aware of the terrors of the CPP-NPA through their recruitment processes.
Ngayon ko lang naintindihan, ngayon ko lang naintindihan bakit hindi nila inuhuli dahil doon sa probinsya, sa Mindanao, nagkakasalubong sila sundalo at saka NPA. Walang baril, pero alam nila NPA, hindi lang magalaw. So ang tatanong ng mga tao, bakit ayaw nilang tirahin o hulihin yung mga NPA? Tinuturo naman lang, NPA yung mga yan dahil sa gabi, nagpupunta rito yan. Pero yung pala yung batas.
Kasi
wala pala talaga magagawa.
Yun ang frustration ng mga sundalo natin noon at saka mga polis. Inuhuli nila, pas pakakawala ng korte.
Dahil walang ebidensya.
Suspicion lang yun. Sabi mo, nakita ko na ganito, may dalang pagkain o may sinaktan siya, gano'n lang. Wala. Wala nangyayari. So ngayon, kaya sabi ko, nagpo-full court press ang ang Makabayan. They're doing everything from going propaganda sa media, they're going to Supreme Court, ganun. Lahat na precisely just to stop this kasi this is unprecedented for them. Akala nila sitting pretty na sila Nandun, pera na nga ng gobyerno Can you imagine they're being paid as public servants? Pagdating ng protest rally against the government, nandun sila sa harapan.
Yung pera yun lang gagamitin nila.
Pero meron din tayong kilala na nasa harapan din noon dati pag nagkakaroon ng protest against government at yan nakaupo bilang pangalawang pinakamataas na posisyon sa Pilipinas. You know what I mean? Kaya nga tinanggal siya sa kabinete, di ba? Anyways, that's another issue. I just thought, I just remembered that happening. Itong ginagawa ng military na to seems to be gaining traction. Mukhang gusto ng majority ng population itong strategy na ginagawa ng military. Ano sa palagay mo, will this yield a good result as far as relationships, for example, domestic sa bahay ng mga magulang at mga kabataan? What do you think will be the impact to this relationship?
Well, una, the parents are already alarmed and alerted.
Yeah.
So they know exactly pag nagrarason na yung bata, alam na nila kung ano nangyayari. Hindi kagaya noon na walang sumbong ang military, walang sinasabing may nangyayari sa eskwelahan. Ngayon alam na nila na there is a recruitment going on. At saka kung nawawala yung anak nila, alam nila kung bakit.
Okay.
Dati kasi parang fraternity lang yan
pang fraternity lang. Kala nila pumunta lang, nag-practice ng sayawan. Ngayon, pag sinabi ng bata, may practice kami sa ganito, ganyan, medyo nag-iisip na yung mother.
Hindi ko alam kung paano ang batas sa Pilipinas pagdating sa mga kabataan. Dito, pagdating mo ng 18, ang magulang, kung gusto mong makita halimbawa yung report card ng anak mo, kailangan may permission pa ng anak mo. Kailangan may permission pa ng anak mo. Pipirmahan niya yung authorization that the parent is allowed to see her report card. Sa Pilipinas, so ngayon, nagiging mas malawak na yung pangunawa ng populasyon tungkol sa harm ng Communist Party of the Philippines by way of recruiting the youth. Ano talagang magagawa ng magulang pagka nadiskubre niya na yung anak niya halimbawa ay nagpapakita ng mga simptomas na siya ay mukhang pumupunta na rin sa kabila? Ano sa palagay ninyo? Hindi ko alam batas sa Pilipinas eh.
Wala, hindi ganyan dito. Kwan pa rin, ang bonding pa rin, nandun pa rin, the trust, nandun pa rin. Ang tawag natin sa mga batang ganyan, pasaway.
Pasaway. So may magagawa pa ang mga magulang para pigilin yung mga anak, halimbawa sa pagsanib sa isang samahang katulad ng Gabriela?
Ayun, wala talagang kwan na lang, yung pagagalitan, mga ganon.
Yeah.
And of course, a rebellious kid will just tatakbo, pangaralan. O tatakbo na lang yung bata.
Yun na nga. That is the danger of it. You know, parang point of no return na yun, di ba? Pagka tumakbo na yung bata.
Ang brainwashing nga na lumalabas doon sa recruitment, already from the very beginning, is huwag kayo maniwala sa magulang nyo.
Okay. So,
sabi nga ng babae, ilago. Yung mga anak nyo ay hindi sa inyo yan. Dumaan lang sa inyo yan. Parang yan.
Mga ganun.
May napanood akong mga clips ng mga magulang na nagsabi na yung mga anak nila were ideal youth, mga ideal na mga anak. They went to school, they were full of hopes and dreams of a great future, and then suddenly nagbago yung attitude ng mga bata. Mukhang meron nang nangyayari. So dinududahan na either on drugs o kaya ay napasama sa masamang barkada.
Yes.
And both symptoms of which are napakahirap para sa isang magulang. So, punto de vista ng mga magulang, all three of us are parents. Ano dapat ang gawin ng mga magulang na Pilipino pag nakita nilang ganyan or even before they see the symptoms among their children?
Kanya
upbringing.
Okay. So, William?
Depende sa ano yan mas malakas ang pressure ng peers kaysa sa bahay, sa magulang. Mas malakas talaga yan. Kahit, for example, yung inuman, yung mapipigil yung anak mo, maski na anong pangaral gawin mo, lalabas yan ay makikiinom. Okay lang yung mga ganong barkada sa anak mo, kilala mo lahat. Ang problema sa school, di mo alam kung sino yung nakakausap nila, kung sino yung nakakasalamuha nila. Ang issue ko dun sa school is sometimes it is the teachers. Sila yung nagkukumbinsi sa mga bata. You join the group. Sila nagtutulak sa mga you join this group, you join this group. Para bang meron ka additional points pag sumama ka sa grupong yun. Then bahala na yung grupo yun to convince you, to brainwash you. Then later on, siguro, punta ka na sa bundok kung na-brainwash ka talaga nila. Kung takot ka lumaban, dito ka sa urban area.
Right. So, Will, napakagandang punto de vista ang binigay mo na yan, yung mga guro sa mga paaralan kung saan nangyayari ang recruitment process. Meron bang magagawa ang Estado para i-prevent yung mga ganitong mga aksyon ng mga supposed to be the teachers who are molding the minds of the young? Erwin?
I don't know what can be done about that except really kung may matinding policy ang government telling them na they should not engage in any recruitment, and that let's say pag may proof of engagement, it can be grounds for suspension or termination. But wala yun eh.
Wala.
Sa government school, palagay ko may magagawa ang government. Pero sa private schools, wala siguro magagawa yung
hindi mo pwedeng gawin yan kasi unang-una, this is exactly what the MAKABAYAN Bloc and Kwan are using. It's human rights. They have human right to do this and this and that. So,
So, hindi naman sila talaga nagre-recruit directly. Sila lang nagre-recommend. Nagsa-suggest sa mga students.
Ano yan? No, you never know. You can never know. I think you're right there, William. There's been a lot of recruitment, especially in college.
Right. Yeah. Well, PUP is a classic example of a hotbed of recruitment. William, do you have access to the comments? Do you mind reading some of the comments? Mukhang matipid yung ating mga listeners ngayon. Yeah, hindi masyadong...
Teru, Magumas, Bantugan. Hello po. Good PM. Watching from Hong Kong. Kay Unik naman. Unik Sign from Singapore. Kung ako lang, Kuya Dan, wala akong idea gaano dyan sa Pinas. Kasi bihira ako mo eh. Once in 10 years. Kumukulong dugo ko pag nakikinig ko ang mga yan. Gusto ko lang makinig para sa mga konting ideas din ako sa mga ganito. Dahil most of the media di naman nilalabas ang mga ito. Puro lang si Tatay Digong ang hinahanap nila. Halos di na maka-toilet yung tao dahil malingat lang ang konti, nahanap ka agad keso natutulog. Ito yung yung issue ng nasaan si Presidente
Pangulo.
ng Bagyo.
Oh, okay. Let's say hello to Borge Anereka. Sabi niya, good morning daw sa atin, mga kuya. Yung comment ni hello Melly. Yung comment ni Unik, sabi niya bilang magulang wala siyang magawa. Kasi si Unik ay nasa labas ng bansa.
Nasa Singapore.
Isa siya sa mga ginagalang natin at pinagpipitaga ng OFW. Marami tayo. There are about 8 million Filipinos outside the country who are considered overseas foreign workers. Imagine, kung may mga magulang na katulad ng mga nakikita natin sa video, nakasama nila mismo yung mga anak nila, wala silang magawa kasi walang batas na bawal dyan. Ano na lang kaya ang kahihinatnan nung mga anak, nung mga magulang na OFW? Your take on this, Erwin? Anyone?
I don't know. It's neither here nor there kasi, but a lot of it really is in the tawag dito, the formation of the values of the kid.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I know of several people who were really leftists, who grew up with the left, and also realized that there was it was futile working on that side when he should be on this side. In other words, the realization comes. Okay, but that comes from the early development of the kid.
Right.
No?
Para yung nangyari dito sa mga kay Eric. Ilang taon na siya bago siya na-realize na nasa kabila. Mali pala yung mali pala yung sinaniba niyang grupo. Di ba? Maraming gano'n
So lagi tayong bumabalik dun sa necessity of nurturing the young. Bata pa lang dapat i-nurture mo na para na sa ganon kung darating yung panahon na itong bata na to halimbawa lalabas sa mundo, mag-ieskwela na and therefore there is more time on his own na dapat preparado yung bata sa mga konsepto na makakaapekto sa kanya at sa kanyang kinabukasan. So, mga magulang po na nakikinig, lalo na po yung mga kaibigan nating OFW at karamihan po ng mga members ng Tinig Pinoy Radio are OFWs. Sana po ay nakikinig kayo ngayon and therefore kung sino man yung pinag-iwanan ninyo ng inyong mga anak sa ating bansa, sana po ay nasusubaybayan nila yung inyong mga anak at tumutulong sila in the formation of the minds of our children.
Yeah. I have to commiserate. I commiserate with the parents today. Yeah. Na lalo na yung pag-overseas yung parents, nandito lang yung anak sa Pilipinas. Yes. At walang nag-guide talaga, no? Yung I can imagine even the thoughts that go through their mind every night. You know, it's mahirap. I commiserate with that thought.
Yeah. Hindi madali obviously ang maging overseas foreign worker.
Kaya nga nakakakuan sila yung kailangan tumutulong sa bayan, pero yung pamilya nila napag-iiwanan.
Yeah.
And that is the sad reality.
So that is an interesting point, Ermin. Shouldn't the government do something to see to it na kahit papaano yung mga anak ng mga OFW ay nabibigyan ng pansin at natutugunan, halimbawa yung pangangailangan nila for to learn more about social values and political values?
Yes, well actually yan sa sa mga local governments na yan
Okay.
Because the local governments know exactly where OFWs, kung sino yung mga anak na naiwan, mga ganon. To a large extent, may mga programs silang ginagawa, but on a national scale, I don't know of any one that is precisely targeting, the children of the OFWs. But certainly, they will need some guidance and help. No, sa pangakwan. Kawawa yung mga OFWs na araw-araw they worry about their kids.
Right.
Tapos pag kinakausap itong bata, nagsisinungaling yung bata.
Right.
You know, only to find out meron na palang problema. Mga ganun.
Which brings to mind
mo yung problema, malaki na.
Ano, which brings to mind William and Ermin yung move to form another ministry yung para sa mga OFWs. Do you think that is a pointless exercise? Yeah. Will just be another expense, or is it necessary?
No. I think there should really be still some focus.
Okay.
Because more than just the financial aspect of being an OFW,
right?
No,
yeah.
The plight of the family must be a serious concern. No, yun ang parating kinakawan ko kagaya nito. Ang punto ko rito sa laban sa sedition, mga insurgency, sa NPA, yung mga pamilya.
Right, yeah.
Ang apektado nawawalan sila ng may iba, nawawalan ng hanap buhay,
right,
ninanakawan sila, nawawala yung anak, yung mga ganun.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think that there should be a focus on that will have the OFWs.
Okay, so are you saying that dapat i-push talaga yung move para magtayo ng ministry specifically para sa mga OFW?
I think so, because global ng economy ngayon
Right.
A lot of countries already find it more practical or even find more efficiency in other countries like the Philippines. Pagdating sa healthcare, alam nila Pilipino pinakamagaling dyan. So they'll always keep coming. So there is no such thing as if the Filipinos will always have to stay home. There will always be attractions coming from outside for them to go there. And living there.
Right.
So, ang OFW has no time po niyan. Nandiyan na, bukas na. The world has opened its gates to the Filipinos.
Right. So
we should have that already.
Right. So other than the common lip service that governments have given our OFWs, ano ang magagawa ng Kongreso at ng Senado para nang sa ganun ay matuloy itong sinusulong na pagtatayo ng ministry specifically para sa mga Filipino overseas workers?
They should really get a closer study. Ang problema nga dito is the OFWs ang nangyayari dito ngayon, they're simply becoming a target for revenues. Kagaya nagkagulo nga yan dahil pagdating mo sa airport, kailangan magbayad ka ng ganito dahil OFW ka.
Yeah.
Thinking that everybody has all the means to pay all of that. That was really unreasonable.
Yeah.
And but wala yung pinaka value system na nasa atin. Confronting OFW concerns.
Right, that's right. Baka nagtataka yung mga nakikinig at nanonood ngayon sa atin dito sa Talak-Bayan sa Tinig Pinoy Radio dahil pinag-uusapan natin suddenly OFW. Hindi po, kasi po pinag-uusapan natin dito yung value formation, which is very important para nang sa ganun ay magkaroon ng malawak na kaalaman yung mga kabataan para maiwasan na masama sila doon sa recruitment process nung makakaliwang grupo. Ang alam natin na yung mga OFWs, yung mga magulang ay nasa labas ng bansa at yung mga anak ay nasa Pilipinas, open to all temptations. Kaya po pinag-uusapan namin ito. So,
pag-usapan natin yung kasi nakatutok tayo sa college.
Okay.
Pag-usapan natin yung recruitment sa UP, PUP. Pero hindi nyo ba alam ba ng karamihan na yung mga recruitment nangyayari sa high school?
High school.
Maraming bata mas bata. Hindi pa
impressionistic kasi mga bata. Yeah. Mas impressionistic ang mga bata.
Yung sa kwento nga ni Ka Eric sabi nga niya, nag-umpisa lang siya dun sa being part of the college newspaper or the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now, yung mga yan are actually the initial targets for recruitment. Kasi they become useful they become useful.
Right.
But hindi naman sinasabi sa kanila, antimano, NPA, hindi. Sumama ka sa amin para mapaganda natin ang kabuhayan natin dito.
Right. Parang
matututo ka sa amin.
Yung droga, di ba? Yung droga, yung nagpupusabi niya, hindi, subukan mo ito, maganda ito, magiging maganda pakiramdam mo. Not knowing that when you do it, you are hooked. Ay, there you go. Napakasakit, Kuya Eddie.
Exactly. Kaya nga yung mga, yung dahil dyan sa mga eskwelahan na yan, early on, the recruiters are already spotting them.
Right. Yeah.
Na alam na nila kung saan susundan, kung sa paano kwan,
Yeah.
sino who will make the approach.
Right.
Yun. But now, this is what I like nga about what's happening. Now parents are more aware that there are many types of recruiting their children
Yeah.
through another means.
Mhm.
So,
Kaibigan
yan,
lang,
medyo pa
barkada lang.
nasa pamilya na yan, how to
Yeah.
how to confront it or how to go against it or
Yeah.
recover kung may relationship problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yun.
Kaya napag-usapan natin ang buhay ng mga OFW and how difficult it is for these parent OFWs to take care of the growing children.
Yes.
So yung pong mga OFW natin na nakikinig, sana po ay bigyan ninyo ng pansin kung papaano matutulungan yung mga bata in their coping up as they grow older.
Mhm.
Okay, let's say hello to Meli Duguedo and Rome Jalel. Okay, I think that is Julian Tabigne, a friend from Singapore. And Unix, I know, is a very long comment. Sorry, Unix, hindi namin mabasa yan. Una, malabo ang mata ni Kuya Dan. Maliit yung
Malabo
screen.
din ang mata ko.
Malabo din ang mata ni William, kaya kanina binabasa niya yung comment ni nahihirapan din siya. Makiusap lang po kami. Yung pong mga nanonood at nakikinig sa Kasalukuyan, please share, like and share Talak-Bayan ngayong umagang ito para po mas marami ang makasama natin. Sa kaalaman ng marami, ang Tinig Pinoy Radio po, or particularly Talak-Bayan sa Tinig Pinoy Radio, is currently being heard over www.tinigpinoy.com and also being simulcast sa Facebook Live and YouTube. So kung kayo po ay may access sa YouTube o sa Facebook, samahan po ninyo kami, and of course yung mga busy at po pwede lang makinig through radio, nandyan po ang tinigpinoy.com. If you don't have the application for Tinig Pinoy, subukan po ninyong magpunta sa www.tinigpinoy.com o kaya ay install ninyo yung TuneIn at hanapin ninyo yung Tinig Pinoy Radio. Okay, sa kasalukuyan po ay meron na lamang tayong 8 minuto. Napakabilis tumakbo ng panahon when you are talking about something very, very important.
May tatanong lang ako muna.
Sure.
Ano ba yung main talking point kung nagre-recruit doon sa mga kabataan to join an organization, to be an activist? Ano ba yung main talking point? Kasi yun ang pinaka-root cause eh. Pag sinolve natin yung root cause ng problema, bakit ba siya sumali? May nagsabi na sa inyo.
The ills of the government.
So,
for example, kung nakikita nila naghihirap yung nanay, yung tatay.
Yeah.
Alam nyo kaya ganyan niya kasi ang daming corruption.
Right.
Ang daming, doon na nag-umpisa yan, yung discussion na yun, na government is not doing anything to help us. When you graduate, you have no jobs.
Right.
Mga ganun.
Uncertainty ng mga bata.
So hina-highlight nila yung mga magiging potential na sense of insecurity ng mga kabataan.
Of course.
Right? Lalo na, alam mo, kung anak ito ng OFW, kaya ang nanay mo, kaya ang tatay mo, wala dito sa piling mo kasi ang Pilipinas, walang maibigay na magandang trabaho para sa mga magulang. Kaya nag-aalisan. Kaya napapabayaan ka.
Doon nag-umpisa.
Doon
nag-umpisa yun.
So, nag-umpisa sa sistemang bulok, sa kahirapan ng mga tao, sa unequal justice system,
right.
malamang naagawan ng lupa,
right.
o nakapi. Ganun siguro yung
diba? Ganun lahat. Basta anything na problema na kwan.
Ng gobyerno.
Ipapalapit sa kanila. And then, the kids are given the impression that they can do something.
Right, yeah. And then
on their own.
So they all started with a good idea, good thing in mind na pwede nilang gawin.
Yeah, walang iniwan William yan sa nanliligaw ka, no? Nung nililigawan mo si Mrs., you are the best of you. Binibigay mo lahat yung mga gusto niyang marinig, binibigay mo lahat yung matanggap. Pero pagka nahuli mo na,
wala ako sinabi.
Hell with you.
Tinignan ko lang.
Nako.
Tingnan ko lang gano'n, hindi ako nagsasalita.
I know. I didn't say you did it, William. I was just using you as an example. Si William po
Hindi
was
ako
a
marunong
ladies man.
magsalita eh.
Kaklase ko ito nung kami nasa high school. Pinaka-pogi po yan doon sa grupo namin.
Hindi ako marunong
That's right.
magsalita.
Tama yung sinasabi mo, it's no different yun sa manliligaw ka eh.
Right.
It's no different. You're enticing them with all things that you think they want to hear.
Yeah. So sa makatwid, ang ginagawa ngayon ng gobyerno through the Armed Forces of the Philippines is something that matches the propaganda movement of the CPP-NPA, and therefore that's why they're scared. Kaya ngayon yung mga bayan talagang takot na takot sila doon sa ginagawa ng gobyerno. Not to mention pagka yung ATL, yung petition nila sa Supreme Court, and I think there are about 40 of them, hindi inaprubahan ng Supreme Court, and therefore full implementation yung ATL law.
Correct.
Well, mukhang matinding problema yan para sa makakaliwang grupo, and then maganda naman para sa ating kabayanan.
Magkano yung budget? 16.5 billion ba pinag-uusapan?
Intelligence
Sabi
fund daw. But that is not it naman eh. Kung talagang titignan mo, that fund, no, can be used in any other way if you want to counter.
Diba?
Kasi it's a very dynamic issue eh. You never know where it will hit. And you know who's the target, where they operate and how they operate. Hindi yan parang akala mo, yan yung kampo, nandiyan, kitang-kita mo yung kampo, alam mo, lusubin natin. Hindi naman ganun.
Right.
Yun ang iniisip ko noon.
Yeah.
Bakit ang dami sundalo, hindi kayang patayin yung mga NPA, hindi pala pwede yun.
Yeah, hindi pwede. Ermin, ano yung NTF-ACLAC?
That is the National Task Force. Basta against communism, parang ganun.
Okay.
I didn't get the full one.
Oo. Nabasa ko kasi na ang gusto ng Makabayan Bloc realign yung budget
nila
para sa NTF-ACLAC. Tama ba yan?
Non-members, I think that's headed by Parlade.
Okay.
Itself. And kasama nga dyan si Yusek Badoy. Doon. So doon na nagsisimula yung core group in this campaign against subversion and terrorism.
I see. So ano sa palagay mo? Papayag ba ang Senado at ang Kongreso para i-realign yung budget na yan na nakalaan para sa NTF?
I hope not. But ang kinakatakutan ko lang dyan, pag sinabi ng gobyerno na we don't have enough money to help in the yung rehabilitation because of the typhoon, of the calamity. Siyempre, unang-unang titignan yan.
Right.
Magkakaroon na alignment of budget later.
But ang kwan dyan kasi is, since it has been budgeted and already assigned to the office of the president, they cannot just say change the law. That is not to the discretion of the holding power.
Pero hindi pa
against sila sa budget.
Hindi pa
Congress pa lang, hindi na in-approve yan.
Hindi pa.
Diba? Pero in-approve nila. So,
approve nila yan eh. Approve nila yan eh. Lumampas na yan sa House eh.
Masarap.
Pero hindi ba babalik pa yung bill na yan bago maging batas? Babalik pa yan sa
BICAM pa yan. Magbabikam yan.
Kung ba sa BICAM po, pwede pang i-introduce yung mga amendments?
Pwede. Yun ang tinatawag nilang Third Congress.
I see. So yun ang sinasabi ko kanina na posibleng ma-realign yung budget na yan. Okay.
Posible pa.
Bago
pag nagkaroon ng dealing dyan sa loob. Ayan.
You have your ears in the Congress. What do you think?
Ano?
You have the ears of the Congress. Ano sa palagay mo?
I don't think they will. I don't think it will be. It will not be it will not be it will not be overly open.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, but they have a speaker who is so open in supporting the Makabayan Bloc.
That will be his biggest boo-boo pag pinakwan niya na yan. Yung nangyayari kasi dyan, yung sa Makabayan Bloc, sila na nagsabi, ang nagpauna niya si Rizal Tiveros sa Senate. Then it was backed by Drilon, so sa Senate. Pinick up naman ngayon ng Makabayan Bloc. But I don't see any other second demotion from other congressmen.
Okay.
iwas na rin yung mga ibang senator.
Iwas na sila. Especially na medyo matinig, lumalakas ang boses ngayon ng mga kontra makaliwa eh.
So,
saka napansin lang, madami pala talagang gusto na matapos na itong problema to. Mabuti
nga may Facebook, may social media eh.
Right.
Kung wala siguro ito.
Nakakaboses ang tao.
Agreed. Well, halimbawa, itong usapan natin na ito ay nakakarating sa ating mga nanonood at nakikinig sa kasalukuyan.
Exactly.
Nakakatulong doon sa formation nung opinion, yung narrative ng iba may be different from ours, but at least we are here bringing about what we think affects everyone, not just Speaker Velasco, but practically everyone. Sorry for always invoking his name. I'm not a fan, but I just love the fact that he seemed to have ceded his power to the MAKABAYAN bloc by protecting them.
Yeah.
Sorry po. I don't think he deserves to be Lord anymore.
Undeserved talaga yun.
Nabanggit mo yung Lord. So Lord is always higher than Peter.
Right. Oh, you're rubbing salt on a wound, William.
William, di mo na halata. Di mo na halata.
Religious, but narinig ko na yan eh.
You were saying something, William, Erwin.
Biruin lang kita, sabi ko, bang nakuha na ng boses ni Dan, yung kung sinasabi niya baka wala na siyang boses. Ang lakas-lakasan ng boses niya.
Maganda ang boses talaga niya mula nung bata kami. Pag nagsalita yan sa
nag-DJ ka siguro nung kabataan.
When I was in my university years, I was the
nag-DJ ka.
Yeah, I was with the Voice of the Philippines noon.
Ayun pala.
It was a long time. Yeah, but I don't have the wit and wisdom of a distinguished journalist like Ermin Garcia.
No, naman, excuse me.
Which brings us to 8:02 or 9:02,
okay.
Which means our time is almost
up.
Can we just continue this next Saturday? Time tatlo.
It's an interesting.
Kung may time si Erwin, kung wala kang kung may time ka,
sige.
Interested.
Sure.
Dahil, alam mo, mas marami nakikinig eh. Marami tayo na pag-uusapan na kaming dalawa ni Dan, wala naman kayo masyadong alam tungkol sa Pilipinas kung ano nangyayari dyan. Nandiyan. At kung sino ba yung pwedeng natin na maisali na meron may mga nalalaman tungkol sa nangyayari sa Pilipinas, we can share it all over the world.
Just give me a shout lang.
Thank you.
Walang problema. Just let me know when you're... Basta kailangan masasabi ko sa inyo kung maaga ako makabalik o hindi.
Right. Sige. Wala nang problema. Kami din naman kasi pag wala, kaming dalawa nagbabanatan kaming dalawa.
Yeah.
Nagdidebate kami.
No problem.
This has been a very interesting hour, but it seems to me and also to William, and I'm sure with Ermin, that there's still a lot to tackle, to talk about.
Bitin eh.
Dahil napaka-init itong usapin na ito, hindi lamang dahil pumapalag ang MAKABAYAN bloc, hindi lamang dahil ang Senado ay kasalukuyang dinidinig itong usaping ito, kung saan may mga lumalabas na mga suggestions, halimbawa nung kay Risa, saying that they should realign the budget. I think with more pressure from the population, Senate and Congress particularly should listen and do something more attuned to what the population now believes to be better than before. Kasi 52 years ago, iba pa ang pananaw ng mga tao. Yan yung tao na
iba yun.
Na itinayo ni Joma ang samahang CPP, Masyado na pong matagal yung the presence of this movement that has brought mostly agony and misery for our country. I was once working with a huge corporation in the Philippines, and 2 of my trucks were burned in a riot by people suspected of being with the left. So, nakita ko po yan. Ako mismo, I was sent a matchbox of bullets intended daw para sa akin because I was cleaning up the ranks of the company. Then
Mm,
there were over 1,000 people under my employ, and I think they were threatened. So
yeah.
personal po, nakaranasan ko yan na yung samahang kaliwa, yung nasa tawag ng mga tagalabas, no, taga Pampanga kasi kami,
Mm.
ay hindi naging favorable as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know how many more Filipinos are affected by this movement, positively or negatively. But at this point, I think the government, from my perspective, is doing something that should have been done long ago. Your take on this, Ermin, before we say goodbye? Ermin? Oh, mukhang nag-crash. Mukhang nag-crash. Yeah, mukhang nag-crash, Ermin. Yeah, well, I guess it's about time that we really said goodbye. William, what can you say?
Ako, sasabihin ko na lang na let's continue this next Saturday. Dahil parang bitin na bitin.
I think so.
Marami pa tayong issue na dapat pag-usapan with Ermin. I think it's interesting to know dahil ako marami akong hindi naiintindihan. Kasi sasabi ko lang, laki ng military, ba't di natin kayang pulbusin yung mga yan? Yung pala, masyado silang restricted by the law. So ngayon, naiintindihan na natin. And I hope na mga kabataan, high school pa lang pala, nire-recruit na sila. So mga magulang, bantayan nyo na yung mga anak yung high school pa lang.
Yeah. In fact, even before they go to high school, kung maaaring pag-usapan na yung mga ills and you know, whatever problem this issue could bring about, dapat pinag-uusapan na at itinatanim sa isip ng mga anak from their parents or whoever is taking care of their children.
Hindi rin natin masisi yung karamihan ng mga magulang dahil karamihan ng magulang both are working dahil ngayon hindi naman kamukha ng araw na tatay lamang tatrabaho. Ngayon both parents are working, so they see each other sa gabi na, pagod na lahat, and on weekends, siguro gusto na magpahinga din. So hindi lang masyado mapapantayan talaga yung mga bata, lalo na ngayon may social media. Nag-games na yung mga bata. So iba yung panahon noon, panahon natin, saka panahon ngayon.
Kaya nga hindi na limitado yung obligasyon sa pagpapalaki sa mga kabataan. Ito po ay dapat tugunan din ng gobyerno at yung sangay ng pamahalaan na po pwedeng bigyan pansin yung mga anak na maaaring maligaw ng landas dahil sa maling paniwala. And with that, we'd like to say thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Doon po sa mga nag-comments, please keep on tuning in and commenting. Kung maaari po, i-share ninyo ang show na ito because this will be present sa Facebook for another 15 days at least. Sa YouTube naman po, just go to TALAK-BAYAN sa TINIG PINOY Radio at makikita po ninyo including the old episodes of TALAK-BAYAN where William and I and our distinguished guests have been taking up issues relevant to all of us, not just to me and William, but to all of us, whether you live in the country or not. And again, maraming salamat po and have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, everyone.
Magandang gabi din sa inyong lahat. Baka naman meron sa inyong gustong sumali. So, message sila si Kuya Dan para mapadala kayo ng link. Kasi baka meron kayong masasabing mas makakatulong para sa lahat. Isang magandang advice o maraming advice.
Thank you. Salamat. Salamat muli, William.
Maraming salamat.
And our friend Erwin Garcia Jr.
Maraming salamat kay Ermin.
Editor-in-chief and owner of the Sunday Punch. May you flourish, my friend, and continue to be healthy. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.